Hey everybody, my name's Greg Hughes. I'm the Vice President at Vans Aircraft.
Ryan Johnson, President of Vans Aircraft, back with you again.
And we're here with another informational update to share some information about things that are going on, what's changed since the last time we came to you, and what have you.
There's good news to report.
There is. You may have seen, if you haven't, then certainly go take a look, but we posted a written update on our website earlier this week at vansaircraft.com. We also linked it on our Facebook page, and of course we posted a link to it over at Vans Air Force Forums. Encourage you to go take a look at that. It includes some of the information here, but we'll go into a little more detail on the topics that were included in that written update. We had some price changes that took place earlier this week. I think the average price across the board change was somewhere in the 6.3% range. Reflects our increased costs of materials costs and labor and just general doing business. Lycoming has announced a price increase that is scheduled to happen. The prices will take effect on March 15th. So you have until the end of the day, March 14th, to place engine orders at the current price. The prices for the Lycoming engines across their range of engines will be increasing anywhere from 10 to 15%. And so, if you're currently in the market for an engine, we wanted to make sure that you're aware of that price change that's going to be taking place. And then the other big update, and Ryan, you'll certainly go into a lot of detail about this, is as we said in our last update, we've been working with third-party partners that we've established on some of the manufacturing, and we're seeing some really great results coming out of that. Starting to change things quite a bit. But again, Ryan, well, why don't you just go ahead and take it away on that?
Yeah, it's exciting news that we want to share with you. As you've liked to describe it, it's kind of the concept of a train, different cars on a train. We're seeing the benefits of larger production runs come into Vans right now. We've increased our number of laser cutters. Last time we talked to you, it was 2, and we're now up to 3. Significant improvements there.
Big difference in terms of our capacity and everything. Yeah.
So what you're seeing is larger production runs that we're actually getting through faster than we got through our previous production runs. We just did a 10-14 wing run. I expected it to take 3 weeks, and it only took 2 weeks. Right. And in the past, it would have taken 6 weeks to do that run. So, the laser cutters took at least 50% away, and we're seeing even beating the times that we're predicting. So. It's really exciting to share that. And what we're able to provide to you is the core of the kit. And if we look at the cars on the train that are upcoming, we have the 10-14 wing run. After that, we're doing all the empennages except for the 12. And then we step through the 12, every kit of the 12. Right. Come to the 7-9 fuselage, then the 7-8 wing, and finally the 9 wing, and that we're expecting to take about 5 months. Then we loop back to the beginning and go through this again. And I think you'll be able to show a graphic on the screen here, but of what the percentage is of the standard kits that we're removing because of this. And
probably worth pointing out to folks that the RV3, RV4, and RV6 are not included on the standard train.
Correct.
We produce so few of those in volume, and they're kind of considered a special order type of item at this point in time.
And right now we're just trying to focus on one kit at a time. It was one of the problems we had, let's say over the last year. We were trying to solve so many kits at once. Right. This allows us to focus on one kit at once from a production standpoint, which we were somewhat doing before, but it's even more so. And then when those kits come out, you are creating one type of kit over and over again. You work through that, you work to the next, you know what's upcoming. The creating department can get ready and anticipate.
It's a much more efficient
process. Right, the hardware department.
Yeah.
So across the board, it's the only way we're getting to the point where we can create enough crates to stay up with demand, and we're already seeing those creating levels rise. I want to cover quickly, recently we had a lot of 10 and 14 items go out the door, and it also corresponded to some delays on the quick build side. So what happened there is, in the last video we shared with you that the first container should have went out of Brazil on the 24th of November. Right. And that was delayed. In the last video we said we were hoping for the 18th of January. Well, an ice storm happened. The only port was Houston. everybody tried to go through the port of Houston. I think we were quoted $25,000 just for the trucking fee across the United States, and
just from Houston to here
for one container.
Right.
And so we kept searching. We're now going to see here within the next few days, we have lined up the first two that are actually going out. The first two back from Brazil, going out through LA and getting trucked back here. So we saw such significant delays in the quick build side. In the Philippines, we had 6 containers without a ship.
No ship to put them on.
And at some point I called the ball and said, we can't find a ship to ship containers of product out of vans.
Right.
Either. It wasn't going out of here.
We can't find.
Those parts had been sitting here.
Or come back.
The shipment to Brazil had been sitting here since December. It was supposed to go out in early February, and when it didn't, I just said, okay, we're delaying back 6 weeks when we know that we can get a container, and we're taking that product and we're just going to ship it to standard kit customers. So there's a large
increase significantly the number of kits, standard build kits that we're able to ship in that same time frame.
That's how we're able to fill so many 1014 orders, which is our most popular kits. But even beyond that, you're seeing it like in the empennage run that we have in the train. I think it's 74% of all standard 14 kit, of course they're all standard empennage orders, we're filling. A lot of the others is higher percentages than that, up to 100% or 90-some percent. So a significant rise in the number of standard kits that are being fulfilled. We're going to pull those lead times in.
And all of those in the next 5 to 6 months of the ones that we're able to. And in many cases, people will find out that we're able to fulfill not all, but quite a few of those standard kit orders even before the lead time that was given to them in the first place. And we recognize that there are customers whose lead time has passed, that we're catching up on. But these larger batches, if more efficient, higher production volume batches allow us to much more quickly fulfill orders and do it in a much more predictable way.
Right. So for the main core of the kit, which is what we talked about last time, it's about a 5 to 6 month time to go around this train, so to speak. We leave room in the train, of course, for the other kits, the finished power plant, firewall forward kits. There's other optional parts that we make. We leave extra production capacity for that, but we'll be able to get around that, and then within 2 cycles of that, or within 10 months, we should be able to fulfill all standard kit orders, except for the items we're still working on is CNC weldments and composites. And so those affect your finished kits, and for the RV10, specifically want to address that. That's the cabin top for the RV10 fuselage.
The composite.
The composite portion, right. So our composite vendor is somewhat limited on labor, and the rate at which they're putting out those cabin tops, they can only do so many due to the labor involved, and that labor is either doing that or it's doing cowlings, and so we're striking a balance. We're working actively with them to bring in more labor at their facility. They've been working with us since 1988. They know what they're doing, and our main effort is, I am looking at other composite manufacturers as well, but we're really focusing on just building up their capacity. They have the tooling, the know-how, and they make great parts for us. So we're increasing that. We're working on better tube coping and more throughput with third-party vendors, which we'll see in the weldment side. But again, you have to make more fixtures. If you have to heat treat, and we only have so many heat treat fixtures, we have to make those. That takes time away from a machinist. We're a small company that is either making parts for you or making those fixtures, or we farm those fixtures out. That all takes time. We're working on it. We're going to see that have benefits, but right now, you're not going to see the lead times right away because we don't know how much they're going to compress.
And just to make it clear, we're talking about like steel tube, where we have to cut it and cut the notches in it, coping, right?
Right.
And those parts that get welded together to make things like, we're talking like engine mounts and
little parts, your bell cranks inside the airplane. See, any welded part can benefit from coping. I think of the elevator horns, they're somewhat hand done right now. And if we can cope that, which we're working on, cope the tube that goes in that elevator horn, it's going to reduce the labor required and increase the throughput. All that has to be worked on. So this concept of the train cars in the train. There's so many slots. It's more efficient. And in the future, what you all want to know is, give me a date when my kit's going to arrive.
Right. What train am I on and what seat am I sitting in, so to speak.
So for the standard core kits, we're at the point where you're going to be able to communicate, you already are, with dates that I've given you, at least for that first time through.
Right.
And we're not through that run yet. We're working on the empennages. We're starting to work on the 12 part of that train right now. Right. And until we get through it the first time, we really don't know exactly, but we have a very good idea, and we're seeing the first cars show a lot of promise.
Yeah, so we're able to communicate actual timeline information for the first few cars in the train, in the current train, but we're still adding cars to the train, so to speak. And as those get added and the timelines are arrived at, then we'll be able to communicate those as well.
In the future, as we work through this first time round, we'll be able to predict, okay, we have 100 RV, it is 100 RV 12 wings. Again, we don't want to make these too large because it would take too long to get through. Right. So 100 slots, and we'll know when the next 100 slots is going to occur and where you are, depending on the number of orders out there. Are you in this production car or this production car?
And what's the timetable for your train, so to speak? Yeah.
So to speak. So the concept of production slots is what's coming up, and it's going to make it more efficient for the whole company overall. Yeah. I think that's all I had on the production train. Any other things you can think of that we should talk about?
Well, I think it's. I know that we both wanted to recognize our customers and say thank you
for your patience,
and understanding
through this,
and
through the growth process.
And there's some frustration as well. The changes that we're making are deep and wide, right? And they're not all. I'm glad that we get a chance to explain them, because otherwise they're not very visible, right?
Right.
And,
we've gone from a company that was literally ran with pieces of paper about 10 months ago. Quite literally. Yes. At different areas of the company to transitioning to much more efficient systems. So
which enables us to be able to do the larger volume and the more complex planning that's really necessary to be able to deliver on the number of kits and the volume of sales that we have, and that's really important. But we wanted to say that we truly appreciate you, and we understand the frustration that goes along with this. I know that we're builders also.
We've waited for parts.
Yes, yes, and the excitement that comes with flying the airplane the first time is palpable and real, right? The RV grin and all of that, and it's taking us a bit longer to get there, and we understand the frustration associated with that. We appreciate you hanging in, and when you finish that airplane and you get that piece of paper and you climb in it for the first time and go and fly it, then it's going to be an amazing day.
It's well worth it.
And we're doing everything we can to optimize and everywhere that we can exert control and influence to get parts to you and get kits to you, so that you can recognize that dream. And we're really excited for the day when you let us know that airplane's flown for the first time.
I think the other thing we wanted to cover was just a thank you to our employees. Many, at least on the production side, crating side, have worked overtime for over a year. And we recently had the President's Day off, but I know the crating crew was in here on President's Day.
Quite a few
production crew is still in here on President's Day, at least the choke points in the production process.
Right.
And they were still...
And not just on Monday, but also over the entire President's Day
Typically, they
weekend.
are working over weekends anyway. So
and the kits team and a bunch of other folks that are hard at work and working long hours over the holiday weekend, and also working long hours every day for several months. Really.
So thank you to the employees as well.
Yeah, it's a great team of people. I know we're really proud to be
part of it,
part of the family. So thanks for joining us for the update. We'll look forward to doing this again sometime soon. Remember, we do written updates, and we'll do the occasional video update, and we'll look forward to seeing you the next time.
Thank you all.